Hey there, my name is Bartosz Kawarecki, or you can call me Bartos. I'm the owner of Vitas Home Care, a home care company here in Lansing, Michigan. And I'm here to talk to you guys about the Home Help Program. In the United States and in Michigan, the amount of elderly or disabled individuals that are alone or are slowly getting to the point where they could end up in a nursing home is increasing dramatically, especially as the baby boomer generation is growing old, and a lot of people are trying to think of solutions and ways to make sure that their family members are cared for, but also so that they can go on with their lives as well. And the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services has a program that can really help you. So if you have grandma or grandpa or somebody, an uncle or aunt that is starting to struggle to live on their own, and you're starting to think about, should we put them in the nursing home, or how are we going to pay for a caregiver, what's going to happen, the DHS has a program that really helps people in this situation. And the whole goal of the program is to prevent people from going to nursing homes so that they can stay in their own homes and their own community. So it's a really good program. And it's completely free for the individual, for the family. You don't have to pay for the caregiver or anything. I know it sounds a little too good to be true, but hear me out on this. So the way for someone, let's say grandma, for her to qualify for this DHS home help program, all she has to be is older than 18. So actually, if someone is disabled and is 20 or 25, they will also qualify for this program. So let's say, so the first requirement to qualify is a person has to be older than 18. The second requirement is that grandma or person that the family member has to have active Medicaid. And the third requirement is that the person, grandma or whoever, has to be a Michigan resident. So if these things are true, and if this is the case, then keep watching the video. If not, then unfortunately the person will not qualify for home help. So the next things that are that DHS looks for, let's say grandma needs help with eating or bathing or dressing or grooming, maybe walking, maybe using the toilet. If grandma needs help with any one of these things, she'll qualify. So let's say she needs help just walking, or she needs help dressing. Maybe she has a problem with her shoulder, or has arthritis, or had a stroke, perhaps, and lost mobility, perhaps on a part of her body. Then if the person, DHS can actually pay for the following help for daily living: eating or feeding, bathing, dressing, grooming, mobility, transferring from one position to another, using the toilet. If grandma needs help with any one of these things, she'll qualify, and she can then receive help for further assistance, such as administering or setting up medicine, laundry, light housework, meal preparation, and cleaning around the house, and shopping for essential items. I mean, like grocery shopping, basically. So if grandma is older than 18, has active Medicaid, lives in Michigan, and needs help with these kinds of daily living activities, she'll probably qualify. The way it works, if grandma has Medicaid, her Medicaid can pay for a caregiver. It can be a family member, it can be a person hired by an agency, it can be a family friend. whoever the caregiver is, that caregiver will be paid through grandma's Medicaid. So grandma doesn't have to pay anything, the family doesn't have to pay anything. It comes at absolutely no cost to you or the family or grandma, grandpa, whoever needs help. That's what's so awesome about this program. How do you apply? You apply by calling the home help hotline, and anybody can apply. Even if there's no harm in being rejected. Everybody has the right to apply. The way to apply is you call the home help hotline. The number is 517-887-9652. There's a home help brochure. I'm gonna put a PDF in the description of the video. And anybody can call this home help hotline. You can call for grandma, for example, if she's has difficulty speaking or remembering things. You can call for her, or she can call, doesn't matter. And if nobody picks up, leave a voicemail asking or stating that you want to apply for home help services. And if somebody does pick up, either way, basically DHS will ask grandma, the client, for certain information. The information they'll ask is the name, the address, date of birth, the social security number, and the phone number or contact information for the client and the family members. If the client just cannot communicate, then it's best to leave whichever number is best. And their marital status and kind of a list of some diagnoses or just a general description of the situation. Once that process has started, once you've called the home help hotline and they have your information, within 5 to 7 days, I mean, it depends on which county. I've seen it go as fast as 3, sometimes it takes as long as 14 days. Regardless of the county, eventually a couple forms will come to the client's address. And these forms have to be filled out within the due date that comes in the mail. And both of these forms have to be sent back to the DHS office. And typically you'll have about 2 weeks to 21 days to fill out the forms and turn them back in. The two forms, the first one is DHS 390. What it is the home help application. And you can find this on the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services website. Or you can Google DHS 390 Michigan and a PDF will show up there. But I'll also put in the script. All the forms I'll put also in the description of the video. But essentially it's an application for home help services. So if you look at section A, right here, you just check this box, home help. And then below, it asks for a description of your situation. So what services are you already receiving? Are you receiving food stamps? Are you receiving social security income, SSI? Are you receiving like some sort of home assistance to pay for your home, prep? And then they ask, do you have Medicaid? And are you a veteran? Other things. And you just fill it out, or according to the client, whatever the client has. So if grandma has Medicaid, then you check Medicaid and so on. And then the living arrangement for the client, for grandma. Is she alone? Does she have family living with her? Maybe grandkids? You just check out those boxes. Grandma signs the form and you send it back to DHS. That's the first form. The second form that will always come is the medical needs form. This one is the most important. This one must be filled out by a primary care physician. And in section I, if you look closely, it kind of says the doctor determines what kind of help grandma needs. medically. And if the doctor agrees and says yes, then DHS will be even more likely to come out and do an assessment. If it's checked no, then the case will probably be rejected. Now, if grandma is married, then there has to be proof that her husband, grandpa, cannot take care of her. So perhaps grandpa's also too old or too disabled or isn't able physically to care for grandma, and there will be a separate medical needs form for grandpa. And again, the primary care physician has to fill this out for grandpa to prove that he cannot care for grandma. And this also has to be sent back to DHS. If grandpa is working, then there needs to be a verification of employment to prove that he's working, and so on the days that he's working, he cannot take care of grandma. And that form is filled out by the employer. So let's say the employer is working for Myers, or the grandpa is working for Myers, and Myers will actually have to fill out that form and send it back to DHS. All these forms need to be sent back to DHS by the due date that's in the mail. Once these forms are all filled out, sent back to DHS, then the caseworker that's assigned to grandma will come out, do an assessment, and will ask things related to daily living activities. What does grandma need help with? Does grandma bathe on her own? Can she cook her own meals? Can she walk on her own? What kinds of services does she need? And so on. Does she need someone to go shopping, to do laundry for her? Perhaps she needs help with toileting. This is a reality. And then, based on that assessment, the caseworker will go back to the office and will send out a letter that will come after maybe a week, 10 days, perhaps 2 weeks, and will basically determine how many hours per month of care grandma qualified for. So let's say she qualifies for 40 hours per month. That means that DHS or Medicaid will actually pay for somebody to come and care for grandma at least about, I mean, if it's 40 hours, and that's a little over an hour every single day. So sometimes it's higher, but sometimes it's lower, but it's completely dependent on how much care the individual needs. Who can be hired? Any family member, any family friend, or someone from an agency, a caregiver from an agency can be hired. The only person that cannot be hired is a spouse. So grandpa can't be hired to take care of grandma. But if you're the grandson or you're the granddaughter, you can take care of grandma and get paid for this. But I'll do another video to kind of describe that. But long story short, you don't have to send grandma or grandpa to a nursing home, and you definitely don't have to pay for a caregiver to come in and take care of grandma and grandpa if they have Medicaid, if they live in Michigan, and if they're older than 18, and if they qualify for home help. If you have any questions, each case is very specific, but I'll leave our contact information below. You can reach us out. You can even comment on YouTube. You can reach us out on Facebook. And we live in the Lansing area, so we're open to helping you guys out and to improving the living situations of elderly and disabled individuals here in Michigan, because it's a growing need, and it's very important. And I hope that this video was helpful and provided value to you, and hopefully it helps you make a more informed decision about your family. So thank you for watching. Take care.